Joining us now from the Heritage Foundation, she's the Tech Policy Center Director there, and former Facebook analyst Kara Frederick. Kara, it's great to have you on. We want to dig into this. Can you explain this? It's coming out also out of Bloomberg News. It shows that there was a free-for-all at Twitter. Musk makes a bid for Twitter, right? When Twitter accepts the bid, they immediately shut down and lock down any changes to its algorithm to stop unauthorized changes, meaning product changes to the algorithm, the updates to it, unless they're business critical and unless a vice president approves them. So who was making changes to the algorithm? Was anybody making changes? Were they censoring anybody they didn't like?
It appears to be that way. You have to remember that Twitter led the way when it came to suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story. So they have an ideological monopoly along with the other tech companies that they work in concert with. And the thing that they're most worried about is open sourcing the algorithm. This is an act of radical transparency that Elon Musk wants to make good on. So if his rhetoric is to be believed, if he truly believes that free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, his plan is to really take that algorithm and open source it.
Yeah,
so open up the black box.
Right. Oh, that is. You're right,
Exactly.
Kara. It's a corporate black box. But if people below the level of vice president can change the algorithm, that means willy-nilly people can walk into Twitter if you're a worker there and change it and censor something you don't like what you heard. And this means that Twitter has poisoned the national discourse for years. And we shouldn't even be looking at the abuse. And, you know, it's so hyped, and the hysteria on Twitter is out of control, that it made, in the media hysteria too, Kara, the Democrat meltdowns. I mean, they made like this Twitter, bid was, and acceptance of the offer was a 180. This was always a plausible idea for Musk to take it over. It's been a go-nowhere stock since the IPO in 2013. It's been stuck in the same trading range of $10 to $20 for nearly 10 years. So the media hysteria made it like, oh, Musk is taking it over. No, it was always a plausible bid.
And the fact that the board had to be dragged kicking and screaming to do its fiduciary duty, it looks like on that earnings call that they're planning to have on Thursday, that was going to be pretty grim for them. So the fact that they had to all of a sudden make a decision and say, okay, we're going to have to loosen our grip on the flow of information in order to not be sued into the ground by our shareholders if Elon were to drop his shares and the stock would then tank. So I think that the fact that this was such a fight, that the world's richest man, he's a singular man at a singular moment, and Twitter's not even the biggest social media company either, and it was this much of a struggle. That tells you all you need to know about the fact that they wanted their censorship, they wanted the status quo, they didn't care about maximizing shareholder value, they cared about their grip on the flow of information, and the fact that Elon had to pry their hands off of it, it really says something about the state of free speech in America and what these big tech oligarchs are doing to it.
Exactly, Kara. I mean, and Clinton's labor secretary, Robert Reich, he's getting hysterical over this. All the liberals who said they would quit Twitter, they're going to be back on by tomorrow, along with all those Hollywood celebrities who never fled, who didn't go to Canada when Trump won. Let's watch the media meltdown over this. Watch.
Elon Musk wants to change the way we tweet, but could his obsession with free speech on the platform take us down a dangerous path?
Elon Musk's hostile takeover bid for Twitter. Right-wing media is celebrating Musk's bid, saying he's going to rescue free speech.
It's kind of funny. Oh, Elon Musk wants to buy it, but there are massive life and globe altering consequences for just letting people run wild on the thing.
Simple equation. I don't know. To me, when the richest guy in the world takes over the most important social media platform, that's just not a winning formula to me. It reminds me of old Bond movies where, Dr. Evil and guys like that, or Goldfinger, were going to take over the media. My tummy meter says there's something just not great about this.
Okay. The irony is pretty rich, Kara. You see folks at Bloomberg and Washington Post saying the same thing Donnie Deutsch is saying, when billionaires own the Washington Post and Bloomberg, right? So only left-wing billionaires or whatever should own media outlets?
Precisely. That's what they think. Misinformation is anything the left disagrees with, right? Even President Obama, the architect of the big lie, you can, if you like your doctor, you can keep him. The President Obama of the party that the Covington Catholic lie, the Russia collusion hoax, over and over and over again. Disinformation equals information that the left doesn't like. I think this exposes them in a way that we've never yet seen before. And if Elon wants to make changes, he needs to start by cleaning house. He needs to get the CEO, Parag Agrawal, who said our role is not to be bound by the First Amendment, get him out of there, fire the board if that's even possible, and clean house when it comes to their leadership, because nothing is going to change unless he does so, and then implement some of those technical fixes as well.
You know what? You mentioned former President Obama. Let's listen to former President Obama on social media, and let's hear what he had to say. Watch.
We aren't going to get rid of all offensive or inflammatory content on the web. Freedom of speech is at the heart of every democratic society. In America, those protections are enshrined in the First Amendment to our Constitution. There's a reason it came first in the Bill of Rights. I'm pretty close to a First Amendment absolutist.
Did you hear that? What does pretty close mean? You can't say you're a free speech absolutist at all if you say you're pretty close. You're for censorship. Obama's about censorship. Twitter is a public forum of abuse, censorship, because of its anonymity and immediacy. And the far left, leading the charge was President Obama, is doing it. They're bringing out the worst in its users. It's rewarding hysteria and more.
Yeah, and then President Obama, in that speech, he went on to say that the First Amendment does not apply to private companies. Okay, getting it on a technicality, but in America, we have a culture of free speech here. He's right. There's a reason why the First Amendment is first, because those of us are used to the disposition to be able to speak freely without threat of material harm, without threat of getting cut off by these big tech platforms when there's nowhere else to go. So it's critical that the First Amendment is used as a guiding principle.
Got it. Kara Frederick, you're always terrific. Come back soon. We love having you on.